Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Listening Show, a show you can listen to. I am Walter, and that is Zach, and we're sitting on brand new chairs. But before I say that, I need to say something to Zach. Before I do that, I need to push this button. It's very important that I do this. Okay. Zach, I have a question for you.
Huh?
Listen.
Good question. Let me start that by answering. That was my favorite one so far.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was my only short one. So I was like,
I have a question. Listen. Let me answer you by first saying, sorry.
thanks for getting these chairs, dude. This is so nice to have back support.
Yeah. Thank my mom. They're not mine.
Yeah.
I was having a hard time with sitting on those beanbags, as fluffy and foofy as they are. Beanbags are the kinds of things that are not meant to be sat up in an erect position on. Or you're not supposed to have good posture on beanbags. You're supposed to lounge.
No, you're right. I would know about erect, and it's just not made for that. They're comfy and they're very cool, but not for sitting up like we kind of need to. So this is nice.
It's even more better. We might get different chairs later, but
yeah,
these are good.
Yeah. Well, I think we decided today's topic is going to be Batman's motivation, Batman's nemesis. I'm talking, of course, about the Joker. I'm kidding. We're talking about crime. And crime, I think, is going to be fun because it actually is a pretty open-ended topic. There are lots of places I think this can go, and that's why I'm looking forward to it. So unless there's something you want to open with, I guess I'll poke this with the prodded tip that is this topic of crime and see what opens and pours out first. My thought, never mind. I asked you a question and didn't let you answer. Let's try that.
It's a joke. It was a stupid joke. I was going to say, crime me a river. But go ahead. Stupid.
My thought was motivations for crime. That's the first thought when you said, you want to talk about crime? I was like, might be interested. What motivates people to do things specifically in a legal way? Okay.
Yeah. First off, what's your favorite crime?
Manslaughter.
Yeah.
It's my favorite crime.
It really is?
What's your favorite crime? That's a good question.
Thanks. My favorite crime is probably loitering.
That's funny that you say that. The reason I said manslaughter is because of a Brian Regan joke. He also has loitering in that same sketch along with manslaughter. They're both, he makes fun of loitering for what it is and manslaughter for the name. Mm-hmm. But loitering is a very good one for that same reason.
Yeah, I like the sound. It has a nice sort of when you're loitering. Plus, I like that it's a crime. Like, you can't stand there.
Yeah, I can't remember how he put it, but he said, is something really a crime when it can be remedied as easily as, all right, move along.
Go over there. Yeah.
That's a good one.
I like how arbitrary and silly it is. But you could definitely tell, like, somebody throughout history was like, that guy being there annoys me so much that it should be criminal. And they made it a crime. Mm-hmm. That's what's so silly about it to me. I want to know the original guy who made loitering a crime. Like
probably a king, probably somebody. I don't know why I imagine this outside the kingdom gates, like technically off the property, but just right there. Mm-hmm. And I know there are people like that, but maybe that was, I don't know.
I'm imagining like a guy who's like, Jeff, get off my lawn. Like, I don't have to. It's not the law. You know, hey, you can't make me. Like, Jeff, please get off the lawn. It's not a crime for me to be here. Please, Jeff. You know, I love the idea that some guy was just being a pest. And so the king is just like, all right, that's it. No more. We need a word for this. No more.
It's not quite the law. It's like loitering.
Yeah.
Loitering. That makes sense.
He's just loitering around there.
I wonder where the word came from.
Yeah, you made that up. It's not a real word. Yeah, it is. It means you can't stand there. I've never heard that. I don't think it's real. No, it is. Loitering is a real word.
Out. This order does not come from me. It comes from the king. He signed this. I'm imagining photoshopping that so it says loitering is now a crime, and then put the word Jeff over. I forgot his name. Keith Urban's character as he's being jogged off.
Yeah. Good work.
So, well, thanks for opening that little.
What's your favorite crime?
Leaking that out for crime. I was thinking about motivations for crime, and to go on to a little bit, I was thinking so many people are motivated to do crimes, and maybe we can back up at some point and talk about what crimes I want to say are worth breaking. But apparently people can be motivated to do things that there's a great chance they're going to get punished for, and yet apparently the risk is worth it. And I'm kind of curious about that. And for some things, it's, I don't know, like some laws are not as morally righteous as others. Like, I don't know, loitering versus murder, for example, some are more severe than others.
I mean, speak for yourself. Sometimes somebody's loitering in such a way, it's like, oh man, I'd rather just kill me. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. I forgot where I was going.
You're going with motivations and what would take someone to the precipice of being so either desperate, or what would justify the consequence of an action?
Yeah, it's not so much why people commit crimes, it's why they think it's worth doing it despite the risks. And I guess it depends on the crime. Murder is a pretty basic one, and I think we kind of understand it, but at the same time, like if you watch murder documentaries and stuff, I know I've said this to myself while watching them, thinking, how did they think they were going to get away with that? And sometimes I think they never considered or care about getting away with it. They want them dead, consequences be damned. I guess I get that, but sometimes they think they can get away with it. Like, how do you think you can get away with it with the way things are?
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's a lot of dumb people.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of murderous people. The murderous people are exceptional, but among those exceptionally murderous people, you can probably count on some exceptionally dumb people. So maybe that justifies it, but murder, I'm not sure, is a good example. But pick another crime, and let's.
Before we move on from murder, I think you were asking that rhetorically. I don't think you were really asking for me to answer it. So, but I do have a thought about murder, and it's something you told me a long time ago, because we were talking, and I was like 15 or whatever, and you were coming over for a sleepover, and we were hanging out. And you said,
I'm going to murder somebody.
Wait,
but only if you think it's a good idea.
You said, I know the best way to kill somebody. And you know where I'm going with this. I want to tell it. I want to tell.
Yeah, I'm not going to interrupt you.
You said, I know the best way to kill somebody. I was like, how? And he goes, get rid of the evidence. And then I was like, yeah, duh. And then you said, so I would kill him with an icicle. So the evidence gets rid of itself. And I was like, that's awesome. The way I just liked how random it seemed at the time. I know the best way to kill somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, that's funny and all. Even then, it's not like you could actually get away with murder with an icicle. No. You know, there's more to it than that. So.
Right. It'd be like, now that your secret's out, they could just go back to this podcast and they'd say, he said he'd kill with an icicle.
They wouldn't get an icicle. They could figure out that it was an icicle. They could figure that out. And then regardless of the murder weapon, they have everything else they need. They can get motivation and whatever.
Probably DNA from the water residue or whatever.
I mean, shoot. It's like getting away with murder now. I don't know. Obviously, it's a lot more difficult than it was 100 years ago with our modern advances. Namely, I think security, but yes, DNA evidence is a huge one.
That sucks, yeah.
It sucks. It sucks for murderers, man. Yeah. They have it really hard.
They do, especially now. I don't think that, obviously, a lot of people get away with murders now because you have people on the wanted list, but yeah, I guess I would not take the chances. I'd be like, let's say, for example, I had to murder somebody and I knew I had time to think about how I was going to do it in order to get away. I wouldn't even know where to start. I'd probably just be like, all right, so I got to get gloves, but I can't buy them from a certain place because they can track purchase records.
You know, that sounds bad that you're saying that, but at the same time, I know I've had a similar thought. I thought, how would you even kill somebody, going through the steps, like going to buy gloves? Well, they're going to see me on camera.
Yeah.
I can't buy with my card.
Right.
there's so many. I don't understand how to even start.
So
murdering
like,
somebody.
so that's like, that would be a fun exercise. It's like, let's try to,
Let's explain to all the millions of people who might listen to this episode how to successfully kill somebody. Let's figure it out together, everybody.
I would buy gloves from like an old garage sale or something.
Smat.
So, yeah, so it had somebody else's goofy gunk all over there.
Smat.
But then I'd buy latex gloves, quite separately, and then I would wear those, and then I'd put the other gloves on. And I don't know how many garage sales sell gloves though. So
I'd probably just steal them from somebody's garage if I was already at the murdering point. Like,
That's true.
I need some gloves.
That's a good idea too.
No, that's a good idea. Also, with theft, assuming no one noticed they were missing, that there's no history of you ever having bought them. But at a garage sale too, stranger, cash,
Yeah,
murder.
almost certainly you'd have to steal whatever you're gonna kill. Like if you're gonna stab them, you can't stab them with your own stuff. You gotta take somebody else's thing to stab people with. You couldn't
Unless
do that.
it's only if you can steal without it ever having been noticed to have been stolen, because otherwise then it will be tracked.
At least, yeah. But then you'd have to get rid of the body. You have to get stuff to do that. Where are you going to put it? You can't put it in your car because then there's going to be residual crap in your car. You have to get someone else's car, but then you're going to get caught because a car. Maybe you could steal a knife or something to stab someone with without getting noticed. But people notice when you steal their car.
Yeah,
So-
I always assumed, and that we probably should be talking this out for the murderer listening, thinking, "Yeah, it's a good idea." You know what I mean? But screw it.
No, I'm not even going to acknowledge this goofiness of this conversation. I'm just going to go through the whole thing.
Just do my due diligence and figure this out.
Yeah.
If you haven't figured this out yet, how to murder somebody. I always imagined that I would rent a car because, well, you can't be yours. I'm not saying renting one is foolproof, but in favor of that idea is the fact that despite all the crime shows and stuff I've watched, I can't recall ever having heard about the suspect or the murderer or the perpetrator ever having rented a car. Never happens. I'm not saying it means, therefore it's...
And they'd get it clean for you.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
Well, I always assumed, like, I'm obviously going to just rent a car for however long from someplace for the day or two, and then I'd take that car back. But of course, my name is on it, and if this car was spotted, and I don't know, but I just have never seen that in a show or anything. Oh, the car was rented. Like, no, it always belongs to, or at best was stolen.
Yeah. Yeah. I think how I would dispose of a body in my perfect world. This is the coolest way to dispose of a body.
Perfect world where murder is allowed to get away with it.
This is the perfect world where I'm a murderer, which by that standard would not be a perfect world because there's at least one murderer. But I would get like an old junky car and I'd turn it on and I'd put it in drive and then I'd put the body in the trunk or something and I'd go to a cliff. And then I'd let it slowly coast off of a cliff. And so the car gets destroyed and the body gets destroyed. But it would be the biggest cliff I could find. And then I would just like put it in gear and then I'd step out of the car and I'd just watch it roll off a cliff.
Sometime I was thinking maybe I'd separate the body into several pieces and dispose them in several places so it's harder to...
So it's like a puzzle. You could like...
Yeah, but I think it doesn't work I think the main argument against is because then there are that many more chances for the murder or the body to be discovered. I'd rather it was all in one place. Like if you knew 7 hiding places, I wouldn't hide it in all 7 of my places. I'd pick my favorite one and use that one. I don't know. I understand the reasons for, I guess, separating it, but...
I think after much deliberation, the best way to get rid of a body, even though I like my way the best way would be to degrade it or deteriorate it by using chemicals and just let it get eaten up.
I thought about that. I'm not saying it's bad. Certainly one advantage is it's possible, therefore, for the body to not be identified, and that's important.
But you'd have to get rid of the teeth too.
Assuming you could completely get rid of the identity, that's a great advantage to have because then you can't be necessarily connected to the crime if you don't even know that's the missing person, whatever it is. But if you don't do it all the way like that with the dental and even maybe DNAs and decomposed, however, then it's not much good.
Yeah. You'd have to like take the individual teeth and like crush them, make like a tooth powder.
Some smart mamma jam would put those back together if all the pieces were there.
All the crushed tooth parts. You think someone will go through, like, if I'm thinking granules of tooth.
Well, granules like sand, no, but like shattered,
Yeah.
someone would.
Oh yeah,
puzzle
shattered
together.
tooth. Like, I'm imagining you're really having a time with these teeth.
Take you a while, but that's your job, and
Yeah, you got to get away with
someone's on the
murder.
line. Yeah, well,
And then you could take the tooth and make something cool out of it. You know, like a trophy, like a cool glued together tooth granule trophy.
I got a good wholesome question about how you'd murder somebody.
I can't wait.
What would be your trophy or your call sign or your what's the word? Your trope? Like what?
Just thought of something.
What is it?
I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly the thought, but I was thinking you want to leave your mark, right?
Yeah.
The first thing I thought was you fart on it, but but I don't know how that would be like something you keep. Like, oh yeah, this is the flatulent guy, or whatever they'd have a cool nickname.
This
like,
is the work of Flatulus.
like the gas chamber.
Flatulent the Fabulous.
Yeah, Gasman.
Gasman.
I don't know.
Ass man. Mrs. Space, I'll just be that.
So stupid. Our jokes are really intelligent right now.
I know you just made up teeth on the spot, but is that something that you do? Just keep a tooth from each one? It doesn't sound. I've never heard
You'd
of
have
it
to have
before.
You'd have to have a fascination with something to want to keep it. I don't know.
Typically, I think they keep clothing
Or jewelry.
which is lame. It's also boring. I
Yeah.
don't know. Well, I wouldn't think I'd want to keep DNA, although that's exactly what Dexter does. You know, he keeps a drop of blood from each one, which is unique and cool, and it speaks to him, and I get that. But for me personally, I think it would be maybe something from the crime scene.
Mm.
To
You
remind
wouldn't
me
want
of
to take something from the body itself?
No, I don't think I want a body part.
Mm.
I don't really care for murdering people, but I did it. I gotta keep
Yeah.
something because I'm a murderer now.
I would
After the
take
quota.
maybe you could take like a patch of cloth from what they wear, and then eventually you can knit yourself a nice crocheted blanket.
Oh, that's nice.
Wouldn't it be sweet? Like you got grandkids
Oh, it's
one
perfect.
day.
Here's why it comes full circle, because then that way that's how you sleep at night.
Yeah. The warmth of your
How do you
murders.
sleep at night?
Funny you
Tell
ask.
you. That's what I meant by it. How do you sleep at night?
You murder. You murdered 20 people and you thought you'd get away with it too. How could you sleep at night? Funny you should ask, because and he pulls out the blanket. That's ridiculous. I like it a lot.
Anyway, that was a fun rant about how to murder somebody. That's not what I was trying to get at. Not like there was anything specific we have to go to, but how about a far less severe crime?
Wait, before we move on from murder, can you ever picture a scenario where you murder somebody?
No.
You can't?
No. We talked about this. And I know you said you could.
Yeah, I could.
And I understand you're right to say that. I'm not. What you asked is a different question than, do you think you're capable of murder? You have to know that you are capable of murder.
That's
I
more the
acknowledge
question.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, I'm capable. I think you asked, can you imagine a situation when you're like, no, I can't, which is a bit different. I just want to know that I know where you're coming from. I wanted to answer that question as well as the one you actually asked.
So what if you were at a shooting range and we're shooting guns, you and me together, and a guy comes up with an automatic weapon and he's firing a gun at me and he shoots me several times in the shoulder and he goes and he's standing over my body to just end it. He's just going to shoot me in the head. Would you kill that guy?
No.
You've got a gun. You let that guy shoot me in the head?
No, I wouldn't let him shoot you in the head.
What would you do?
Shoot his freaking feet, dude.
Well, I'm at his feet. I'm covering his feet. You're going to shoot me if you shoot his feet.
Well, shoot his knees.
But then he can still shoot me because you just shot his knees. He's awake and he's hell bent on killing me.
Well, if you
know this guy's going to kill me unless I kill him.
Okay,
you wouldn't shoot that guy?
Then you're dead, and I'm dead. Sorry.
You wouldn't kill the guy?
Mm-mm. That's the question you wanted. I wasn't trying to squirm. Just letting you know that's what I would actually do in that situation. If I had a gun to stop somebody to shoot I'd take a non-lethal shot. That's what I would do by default.
But if it doesn't work,
if it came to it, no, I couldn't kill somebody like that.
Would you shoot him in the chest mass and hope they didn't die?
No, I wouldn't do that.
I would do that.
And I don't fault you for it. I'm not saying, oh, you're wrong. Do I have the wrong button?
You look hideous.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You look hideous.
No, I don't have it. Sorry. Anyway,
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that if somebody was about to kill another person, and I don't know the motive, but I knew that I could stop them from killing another person by killing that person, I think I'd do it. It obviously depends.
Reminds me of a conversation between the Punisher and somebody else. I can't remember. Character number 2 said to the Punisher, the problem is, maybe it was Batman. I don't know if I have the characters right. The problem is that when you kill somebody, there are the same amount of murderers in the world. So if you kill a murderer, the number of murderers in the world doesn't change. Punisher says, not if you murder them all.
Yeah.
So I love conflicting ideologies in this character. But anyway, if I kill the guy, is there really less suffering in the world? I don't know.
Well, the idea is, in that scenario, this is a kind of person that would continue killing if they're willing to kill once and you don't know the motive. So essentially, you're potentially stopping many murders, not just the one. You're saving one life, but maybe a lot more. That's why I would do it.
You know what you should do, though, at that point? You should just kill all life. Sorry, half the life. Just half the life in the universe. And then there will be peace.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I'm exaggerating, but the thing is, if you kill something, or this is a conflict that Captain America and Iron Man had. Mm-hmm. I'm on Captain America's half, which is, how do I make this more concise? Captain America said to Iron Man, every time someone, I can't remember. Anyway, the point is, you justifying killing someone because they were going to kill more people on my half of the extremes is not a good reason.
Huh.
It's kind of like, there's so many things that explore this. Tom Cruise's Minority Report. You know what that is, right? Yep. Stopping crimes before they happen. That's a real ethical conundrum. That they haven't committed the crime yet, but they were going to.
Yeah.
So if you're going to pick one side, I'm on the side of they haven't done it yet, so you can't do it. I'm not saying that you're wrong for doing that in that situation where this guy's clearly going to go kill a bunch of people, but like when it's a war of ideas, that's the side I'm on.
All right, a freaking terrorist bomber is going to explode a stadium. You see him with the backpack with the bomb, and he's screaming,
"This is the instrument of your liberation."
And you can stop him. That's easy for me. It's like, I would rather save 10,000 people and kill one.
If I could put my life on the line instead of someone else's life, I'd do that, but I'm not willing to take a life except for my own, I guess. Even though it's iffy.
How about this? How about the murderer has already killed 10 people and you know that you just watch him kill 10 people and you have a chance to kill him, to stop him from killing more people. Now I already know he's a murderer. He's already done the crime and he anticipates doing more. Do you justify it then?
Justify it as in, would I kill him then?
Yeah.
No.
Is that because... Okay. I won't prod you further.
I'll take it further because I think we've all thought about this in some way or another. I know I brought this up. If my family was at gunpoint, I'm still not willing to kill the guy who's threatening or killing my family. I'm still not willing. Granted, I don't have a family and I'm not there. So how could I actually know how I would behave? My best honest guess is no.
I don't think that's not a regular person justification. Just so
I don't think I'm a regular person.
No, and I'm glad that you're not. I also think I don't think that's a good approach. I think it's cowardly to do that. To stand by when you can do something and save lives. I know that you're justifying it because then you're not a murderer. You haven't done wrong.
I wish I could be Batman. I think he gets as close as possible because he's not willing to take a life, but he will beat you within an inch of your life.
Yeah.
And I'd be okay with that if I knew how.
You're okay with
there was a way to put the risk on myself, first of all, if I could be the one in front of the gun, and two, if I could stop him in any way besides killing him, I'm all for it.
Yep.
But I don't want that. I don't have that.
I just want people to know I don't want to kill anybody either. I just think that's an easy answer. But
what if he cut you off and he was clearly like 5 lines behind you?
Yeah, there you go.
And you knew that he had no intention of paying child support. That's pretty. You can kill him, right? You be okay with that?
Yeah. Yeah. Easy. No, I I don't. There is an ethical issue with killing people before they kill people, like the government bombing places because they're terrorists who say they're gonna kill people. Like I don't know how I feel about that exactly.
It's fun.
Because they're pretty far away. It'd be pretty hard for them to kill people. I'm not saying anything political about it. I'm just saying that'd be an interesting conundrum to be in. You know, this person's going to try everything they can to kill my people that I'm responsible for. And it's not just about my innocence at this point. I have to sacrifice my own innocence to make this choice to potentially save people. But maybe maybe they're not able to kill people because they lose resources or die early or something.
There are a lot.
Wait till last minute, maybe. Like they have weapons and they're going to fire them this day. And we know that now. Okay, now I can justify killing that person. I don't know.
There are a lot of movies like that or things that deal with that question in one way or another. And you said, what if one example is it was Eagle Eye.
Yep. I thought about that.
The premise is about the president ordering a strike on supposed terrorists, even though they weren't sure they were terrorists. So assuming that they were terrorists in their home country, not acting violently, the idea was to take them out preemptively because the terrorist they assumed that he was someone who had already killed many people. He was already worth killing, but at this point, they didn't know that it was him. Anyway,
right.
That's like a judgment call the president had to make. So it's kind of like in your example, we don't even know. I mean, the point is, there's a lot of different scenarios that you can exist in with these moral problems. But if you have to pick one side or the other, I think we're on different sides, which is fun because we're not typically on different sides of questions, political sides. In this case, ethical conundrums is what I'm going to toss this up to.
Well,
it's more interesting that way.
Just so you know, the government's on my side. They say if a person pulls a gun on you, and that's to them, that is motive enough that they're going to try to kill you. If they pull a gun on you, you're licensed to shoot them. To kill them,
I'd like to restate this. Before, when you said you do something, and I said I wouldn't say you're wrong for that. I want to say very clearly, I'm speaking for myself. I certainly don't think I'm in any position to tell others what to do. I'm certainly glad I don't have the responsibility of that. I don't think that how I choose to operate is not necessarily the right way.
Yeah.
Even for me, certainly don't put that on other people.
I don't.
At least at the very least, I understand the idea about self-defense, and if your weapon's being drawn on you, I certainly understand. I'm not going to be over here going, "Oh, it's wrong, and I know better." I'm not above that. So,
nor am I.
Speaking about how I am as a person,
too. I think just culturally, that's what's been taught to me about the proper thing to do. Because even though there is you lose as an individual because you've taken a life. It's a sacrifice because maybe to me it's a good sacrifice because you've put someone else's life as you've made that more valuable than your own innocence and your own ability to say I'm not a murderer.
Maybe this is true for you, but the way I would justify that kind of behavior is you've made less suffering in the world by killing someone who's going to kill more people. You've done good.
And likely brought suffering to yourself.
Yes.
Right.
And I understand. Yeah.
But it is
for that
all
reason,
over
I get it.
Less suffering. Yes.
It's just in my case, and I'm using my own logic to try to bolster the opposition.
Mm-hmm.
That same reasoning, which by the way, I think I'm honing in on it. I think that's my life orientation or purpose is to create less suffering in the world. That's vague, but I think that's where I find purpose. Anyhow, I'm not convinced that by killing someone who's going to kill more people will create less suffering. I'm not convinced.
That's interesting. I wonder why that is.
I don't know either. Maybe I'm completely irrational and I'm objectively wrong, but that's how I feel about it.
I don't know. My impression is that's... Well, you know my impression.
Yeah.
My impression is that most people would say that's wrong. I'm not even saying that it is wrong, but the part that takes me aback about the idea of I could save a life, but I'm not going to. The only way I could save a life is to kill someone, but I'm not going to because that's because of my innocence or then I'm not a murderer. That seems selfish to me. That's the only reason I was taken aback at first. But I don't think you're saying that as a selfish person. I think you're just You're just saying, I don't know if I could justify, I don't know if one good is better than another good or the other way around.
That's certainly part of it.
So
I don't think it's that simple. I don't think
Yeah.
people are one soul is, I'm gonna be careful where I'm going with this.
Yeah,
One person is worth 10,000 or one is worth one. I don't know those. So I don't know that killing myself sounds really selfish. I don't know that me dying versus 10,000 dying in any order. I don't know. I don't know the worth of good and bad. And I don't know. I don't think it's that simple.
It's not.
And comic book characters are fun. They deal with that question a lot, and it's just fun.
It is fun.
As fun as a very dire consequence can be to talk about. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a non-zero sum question, because anytime someone tries to take a life, you're doing a net negative on the world and on yourself and on a bunch of other people. And it's such a net negative to the effect that somebody else, the math is weird. I can see why you'd be like, I don't get that, because the way to stop that net negative from happening is someone else doing a negative, which is like a negative and a negative doesn't make a positive, but maybe it makes slightly less of a negative is the math. And for some people that's good enough, including myself. I think for a lot of people that's good enough. Is less negative is good enough, but personally being responsible for committing net negative, that's not good.
Math is an interesting way to put it, to kind of reiterate I think I'm on the same page as most people, which is I want less suffering and more good, whatever that means. Level below that, I don't know how that works. And I don't know that I can actually bring that about.
Yeah.
I don't know the math.
Yeah. It's complicated. The listening show, you heard it here. Murder is complicated. That's what we learned here today.
That sounds like a justification for it. It's complicated.
No, the icicle fell into him by itself, Your Honor.
It slipped.
All right.
It fell off the roof.
I just wanted to I didn't want to leave murder behind without getting the ethics of it.
Oh no, it's very fun.
But you said before I stopped you, let's talk about a lesser crime. And I want to hear what you have to say about that.
I wanted to think about motivations for crime. And so I went straight to the one that I think we can mostly agree on, right? As far as right or wrong. Kind of interesting. If you're going to rate the worst crime, murder's probably number one, probably for most people. So I'm not saying we have to find the least wrong crime, but let's find a very minor crime to where it is probably easy to justify doing it. It's very difficult to justify murder, if at all,
Stealing.
as opposed to jaywalking. Stealing?
Or jaywalking, sure.
Yeah, jaywalking. Let's pick something that's more clearly defined. Stealing is a pretty good one. There's certainly some ambiguity into why it could ever be justified. Can we go to something simpler like jaywalking? I just don't like jaywalking. How about
driving without a license?
I was thinking some kind of traffic law. How about
Speeding.
drug possession?
Yeah, let's talk about drugs.
I won't talk about drugs specifically. I may not be able to avoid it, but drug possession. So this isn't selling drugs. This is you're in possession of an illegal drug.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have room to go. Why is he being punished that hard for this, as opposed to he killed somebody? It's just a matter of how hard he should be punished, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So backing up, motivations. Let's create a scenario that we can agree on for a second. Let's say someone's in possession of marijuana or something that's more or less accepted.
I agree so far.
Possession of marijuana. I agree.
You said, let's create a scenario I can agree upon. Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Someone has marijuana and the crime in this state, whatever, is 25 years for possession. Now, can we agree that's too much?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just need to create this example. I'm sure there is something not too different that exists as far as not a very bad drug, subjectively too much punishment, but we need to create an example that we can talk about, because I don't want to claim that this is a law when it's not. So we have to make one up because we don't know the drug laws.
Make up a drug?
We could. I mean, I'd rather just stick to a drug that we know the effects of, or create a number that we can all go, oh, that's too much. because we don't know. Like
That's a good
murder,
one.
murder, we
Marijuana,
know
25 years.
it's illegal. We know why. Marijuana, we don't, or drugs. So that's where we're creating that. Anyway,
I like marijuana in 25
marijuana
years.
for 25 years. Okay, so more or less the polar opposite of murder. The question is, what would motivate somebody to do this? Now, I don't know what a normal person is like because I'm not a normal person, but it's very interesting to me that somebody would take that risk. For example, if you were caught smoking marijuana, do you like it so much? Have you actually calculated the risk that I will lose a good portion of my life? Whoopsie. If I get caught doing this. In that case, I don't think it's worth the risk. Murder, I don't think it's worth the risk, but I'm sure there's a situation where it does. So for something that's so, I want to say benign, it's relatively benign. Can you create a case for a person that create the strongest case you can? I don't care how crazy it is. Create the strongest case for somebody who calculates the risk and justifies doing something that they can get egregiously punished for like this.
It depends on the potential reward. It becomes when you can be, if you can get away with it, and then it's not a matter of the punishment. It is the matter of what's the potential reward versus the punishment.
What's the best reward possible is what I'm saying.
Money. If you possess something, maybe you could turn it around and sell it, or you can use it. And if you use it, like, okay, first of all, marijuana in 25 years is an absurd. That's an absurd. Just possessing marijuana, 25 years. I don't know many people that would take the risk of just having some marijuana if the downfall would be, if you get caught with that, you're in jail for a quarter of your life.
And the reason I hope I don't fudge. The reason I say this is because there are people who take a risk for something that's an egregious punishment. And that's why I'm making this example up. People do take stupid risks is how I see them. Not saying they're not justified. They're just dumb.
So
mathematically.
So cocaine dealers and having cocaine or something like that, where to me, that makes sense because the potential reward for having a bunch of cocaine is a whole bunch of money. But at the same time, you get caught, then you're in jail for a very long time. So it's just like, it's like playing the lottery. It's like playing a lottery where where all you know is that you've ever gotten away with winning the lottery.
So are you saying that people who take these kind of risks are akin to people who are who are gamblers?
I think so. You have to have at least some of that, but you also have to know that the math for those people who are probably doing that, they probably have never, like, let's say there's a 25% chance you get caught if you're a cocaine dealer or whatever. Let's say 25% chance. All the cocaine dealers have not been, who are dealing cocaine, haven't been caught, or if they have been caught, they've already served part of the punishment.
I'll do you one better.
Okay, what?
As a case for drug dealers, let's say 7 billion people play the lottery, only one person wins, but 7 million, whatever how the number is, will still play.
Mm-hmm.
Less than 0.1% is a good enough chance. And so I guess people in general are willing to take chances.
Yeah.
Even if, when it comes to gambling, for example, we can agree that it's a mathematically dumb thing to do.
Yeah.
And we still do it. It's very interesting.
Because the potential reward is pretty cool, especially if it's a consistent potential reward. Like, I totally get why you'd be a cocaine dealer, for example, because the potential reward, all you have to do is get away with it and you're a rich man, right? And so it's like, if all you're focused on is, I just have to get away with this and I have to avoid all the things that could get me caught, I can see why it would just be super high risk, high reward job. And some people are aggressive enough and maybe ignorant enough to take that risk, because you have to have some level of ignorance. Like I said, all of the current drug dealers, not all of them, some of them are back at it after, serving time or whatever, but almost all of them, I would guess, have just not gotten caught yet. And that's why they're still doing it, because they haven't seen the detriment to doing it. All they've seen is the benefit and the potential reward.
But an argument against is a lot of people, I think, who will have drug possession, whatever, they serve maybe even a stupid long sentence, and they get back out and they do it again. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that makes sense because maybe they were able to get away with it for 8 years and they got caught in 1 month of 8 years. So that's a really good, okay. It's like, so imagine you're at a slot machine. Okay. And It's a 90% win slot machine, but 10% chance you get kicked out of the casino. That's what it is. It's like, I'm going to win almost every time, but eventually I'm going to get kicked out. And maybe you can win just enough money with a 90% win. Just ding, 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 just keep going, keep going. By the time you get kicked out of the casino, you've made more money at the casino than it's worth spending the time out of the casino.
In this analogy, getting kicked out is, say, 25 years in prison. Are we still? Ooh. Are we? See, I'm talking about what if the consequence and the risk is too high, because I think the punishment isn't worth the reward.
It probably is not. I don't think it is, but okay. So you're a young person who goes to the casino. And because all your friends are doing it, all your friends are going to the casino, and they're like, "Hey, just bring $100 and just bet big because it's 90% chance you'll win." They see all their friends in there just ringing up all this money, and they're like, "I'll play," and then they play for a little bit, and all they know is people are getting away with it. Maybe they see this guy get kicked out, and I'm guessing the percentage is a little bit. It's more like a 98% win chance. So eventually you'll lose because it's 2% chance if you keep playing. That seems to me what it'd be like.
So it doesn't matter what the consequences are as long as your chances for winning are high.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess I get that.
There's an interesting ethical question that somebody posed, that there was like, there's a button that you press that every time you press it, you get $10,000, but every time somebody dies, including yourself. So you could be one of those people eventually. Mm-hmm. Would you just keep pressing the button because there's so many people? Technically, you could die. Mm-hmm. You know, there's like an interesting...
So to go back, that was the justification for the same reasoning would apply for people who play the lottery. The consequences for... I take it back. That doesn't apply at all. The justification you made for a crime like drug possession is because you will win most of the time. So it doesn't matter how bad the punishment or the loss will be because you can count on winning most of the time. I get that. Mm-hmm. I don't want to divert from this, but it makes me wonder about the lottery. It doesn't apply there. Your chances of winning are next to nothing.
Oh, because the risk is pretty low.
Right, probably because it takes very little to... Okay, very interesting.
So you could just... The risk, if you don't win money there, is you just don't have the money that you brought there. That's pretty easy. The risk is like 40 years for...
But I like the justification you made for crime. It's that you win way more than you lose. So it doesn't matter how hard your loss is. Kind of interesting.
At least potentially. Mm-hmm. And it's not like the 90% of the time that you win, you don't win big. It's like, let's say you triple your money every time you win, and it's a 90% win rate. At that point, you're just euphoric and all this winning you're doing that maybe you just keep playing and you just see your numbers get bigger and bigger. And then, I mean, what person, if they knew they could make their numbers get bigger, wouldn't keep playing the game, even at some risk? If people play the casino and get addicted to that, where the win rate is like 20% or whatever. There's a bunch of different games, and you know it's closer to 50% in some than others, and people are addicted to that and they lose most of the time, but there's a potential that they'll win. There's a varying range of people. And then there's other people closer like me, or regular job 8 to 5 going people, that it's 100% chance you're going to win. But you're not going to win very much, but it'll be consistent. 100% chance if you go to your job and you work 8 hours a day, you're going to win your salary. But that's really
the
safe.
Gambling mechanics are interesting, but
yeah,
I don't want to divert from crime, but
yeah,
gambling is interesting. Mm-hmm. Well, I was interested in the motivation and justification for some crimes. I think with your answer, pretty well satiated for now. You had a fun question about how would you commit a murder? What's another completely different aspect of crime? How about crime as it relates to society, specifically how I think we have the lowest crime rate in this country we've had in however long?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's just you could just do an economical study with that, because all people say the better the country's doing, the less crime happens. So you can have a good metric of if your country's doing well by if there's not very much crime. Because crime is some point there's a metric where your suffering is high enough, your desperation is high enough, and your resources are low enough that you will resort to crime. Mm-hmm. I don't know what this is.
That's another interesting topic. We can skip mine if you want, but what would it take for you to commit a crime? Depends on the crime, but
Yeah.
everybody has a point.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't think it would take as much as most people think it would take. I'm a little more aware of the motivations though. Depends on the crime.
And I've alluded to this before. I just wouldn't know until I'm at the point. Like I may say, oh, I'd never kill somebody in this situation. And then until I'm actually put in that situation, who knows what I'd actually do? I haven't been there, So I can only guess, but it's just a guess. So I realize that anybody who says it about themselves, including myself, I don't know.
And
But-
neither do I.
How about,
I think that, but to answer your question, I think I would do crimes if I got desperate enough or whatever. I think everybody would if they were being honest with themselves, especially if they had a responsibility for something else and they didn't have the resources to care for it or something.
So, like-
if you had kids or something and they didn't have any clothes, I could see why you'd steal clothes.
okay, so you brought this up before. I thought about talking about, but now it seems more relevant. Driving without a driver's license. So what we're getting into now is justifications that include that's a dumb law anyway, or it's not an important law. So let's throw in best case scenario for somebody who's justifying and is motivated to do this crime. Driving without a license. Lawmen, we see that, we smack it down. It's illegal, and you're going to jail for however long, whatever the punishment is. Let's create the best case scenario for this person. You're a single mother. You need to feed your kids. You have to go to work. They need food and stuff. You have to drive. You're not going to, at some point, you're going to justify to yourself, I'm not going to not drive.
Yeah.
Gets muddy. Anyway, certainly some crimes are less, I want to say less severe. I hate saying it this way too. Some crimes are easier to justify doing.
Oh yeah.
So,
well, ethically, driving without a driver's license, the only person you're harming in doing that is the government. And so you're cheating the government out of tax money.
There are a lot of laws like that where you're like,
right.
Who's getting hurt by this? Nobody.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of laws.
Technically, that's what it is. But crime against your country is in part crime against you because your country is I'm not saying drive without your license.
Yeah.
Obviously.
When we get to
I'm
these,
just saying it's silly. Like you basically said, there's some that are more ethically
when
questionable than others.
When I picked drug possession, you proposed that one, driving without a license, and you picked that because I was asking for one that is the opposite of murder. It's like the most banal, stupid crime. Like, why is this even a crime?
Yeah.
Without a driver's license is a good one. I wanted some crime that's super easy to justify doing.
Mm-hmm. I think stealing would be a good one for that.
Well, stealing you can hurt people with that.
You can. But you can also justify it. Like I'm thinking very Aladdin and like you're rob from the rich, give the poor, Robin Hood stuff. I'm not saying it's still good. I think it's still bad, but I could see how it'd be super easy to justify if you were not well off. I could also see how it's just really selfish and evil because you're taking from somebody else and you don't really need it. That obviously, I'm not saying it's only that. Stealing is there's a lot of different kinds of stealing, but I could see a scenario where stealing would be super justified.
I think stealing falls in the middle between murder and driving without your license, stealing. And I want to jump on either end of the spectrum because even though one of them is really hard to justify in most cases and the other one is pretty easy, unfortunately, they all fall under the same law, which is interesting. I don't want to talk about laws, but we are talking about crime, so they kind of are related. Crimes only exist because of laws.
I have an interesting exercise if you're interested.
I don't like exercise, but okay.
So my thought was, let's find the best possible and worst possible justification for each crime.
Okay.
So murder, best justification is you just stopped a terrorist from killing millions of people, in my opinion. That's the best justification.
Saving lives, whatever.
Yeah. The worst justification is you're the terrorist trying to kill millions of lives. So that's easy. Because those are polar opposites.
Well, we kind of did that with the driving. It's lives kind of depend on you if you don't drive, versus the worst case scenario is I want a donut, even though I have donuts at home.
Yeah. So I have one for stealing too.
Okay.
So the best justification is there are starving people.
Right.
Somebody
Lives
has
are
an
on the line.
overabundance of food and it's a corrupt place that you're stealing from. I think that's the best justification for stealing. The worst would be you're the corporation and you're well off and you don't need to steal, but you're stealing. Like I can't. I'm just giving a narrative picture.
What's interesting is the justification in all those is lives.
Yeah.
It's like lives is the highest value, which is really cool.
That is
It's
cool.
a Western idea.
If you were to take all the arrows and all the strings together and you found like if you pulled all the strings, it would come to a point that would be lives, because lives is what
individuals.
Yeah, people. That's
Yes.
what has value ultimately, and so all this is based on a people metric and a value metric system with people at the center. Yeah, it's cool, but it obviously seems more unethical if you are a person or a corporation or you're an entity that has much. It's way worse if you steal because you don't need it than if you have nothing at all and you steal. It seems like that would be the spectrum of stealing, and where it's justified or not justified.
More specifically, having a lot and stealing from someone who has nothing, like the story of the sheep.
Yep,
That one.
that's a good one. You are that sheep. You are that man. I'm thinking Veggie Tales, where
Yep.
he's singing about, I can't remember the song, but he had one little sheep, and I can't remember. But driving without a license, it's, the best justification is you're providing and you're using the driving. You don't have the resources to pay the arbitrary fees for living in a country and everything. Can you think of a poor justification for driving without a license?
Yeah, I already said. I said, I want a donut, even though I have donuts at home, but I really want to go get a donut.
And I have the money to afford a driver's license. I just don't want it. I don't want to spend it on that. Yeah.
Let's pick a completely different. I think I pulled one up and then you came up with a better one. A completely different angle on crime. I think it was what I said was the crime rates in the country. On that note, how safe do you feel?
I feel pretty safe.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Obviously, not everybody that has that luxury.
No, where we live helps.
Yeah.
Middle of nowhere.
As an example, I guess this kind of relates to crime. For the years I've been writing, almost 10 years, I, not always, will usually leave my helmet on my motorcycle because I'm fairly confident no one's going to steal it, right? And you raise an eyebrow, and a lot of people will criticize me in public. You about someone stealing it? I'm like, no. And it's maybe it kind of comes back to the risk versus reward. I've won so many times. Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, I crime wise, we had one night we woke up, there was police as a kids, and we woke up and there were police lights coming through our window. We went to the front yard, and it turns out that some drunk driver had come under our lawn and smashed into our tree and run away. Now, it's not really a crime, but what I'm bringing that up for is I asked myself, well, what's the most crime thing I could remember being involved with? I've had some tragedies, but no crimes. And so looking back on my life, it's been pretty good. I'm not terribly worried about someone trying to steal my stuff, like breaking my house or steal my vehicles wherever I park them. I'm still relatively cautious. I like cameras on all my stuff, but I'm not worried like it's a legitimate threat considering where we live. Unless you want to expound on that. I know you said you feel pretty safe. I feel pretty safe too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Have you ever committed any crimes?
Every day.
Every day?
Mm-hmm.
Let's self-incriminate right now. So all of our...
I stole a grape from the grocery store. It's delicious.
You did?
Yeah. When you pick it off the little stack of grapes,
Yeah.
after the mister has just come on and misted everything, it tastes the best. So therefore it was justified.
I had I've only stolen one time in my whole life. And it was kind of recent. It was within 3 years. And I was at Walmart and I was going to buy candles for a lovely date I had with my sweet girlfriend at the time. And I wanted mini candles. And so I wanted to get those tiny ones that are like 39 cents each. And they only had 6 left of these little candles. And I went to the front and it was like $5 or whatever. And I boop, boop, boop. And I checked 5 of the 6 of them. I got to the last one. I was like, it was not scanning. And I looked at the barcode and it was broken. So I tried peeling it and I was like, and then I tried straightening it out. And then I tried typing it in. I was like, I cannot get this 39-cent candle to register on this GD machine. And I was like, you know what? I've never stole before. Maybe I could just steal it. And so I put it in the bag and I just took it. And I was just like, oh, I feel so alive.
I like that justification.
I could not.
No, it's funny because when you said that, I've never stolen anything before. Maybe I'll just steal it. Like, there we go. No, what was funny is you said all that, and I'm not saying you should have done anything differently, but you said all that. I was like, why don't you just take one of the candles you previously scanned and scan
I tried
it again?
that too.
Oh, okay.
But it said duplicate item will not register. And I thought
Guess
I tried.
I have no choice.
Yeah, well, I looked around. I promise I did my due diligence. I think I did plenty good. I was there for probably 10 minutes, and I looked around. I waved at the lady. She walked by, ignored me. I was like, I'm going to take this because they're not even paying attention. It's 39 cents.
Then the
and I spent like $4 or whatever on the other ones, but so I've technically stolen about 2 quarters from Mr. Walmart.
Wow.
Yeah.
She got like
lock me up.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should get tattoos now.
Yeah, a teardrop for murder.
Whatever the crime tattoos are, just like yeah.
I start wearing like a bandana and chains and grill. I like it so much.
That's a great example of bottom end of the spectrum of severity of crime. It was a great example.
Oh man, it was funny.
It beats my grape, even though a grape is worth less than 39 cents. It still beat my story.
I remember because I went to the date afterwards. I lit all these candles, and I just kept thinking about how I stole one of those. And then she got there, and it was a great date. And I just kept thinking I'd like look at the candles and like had my dirty little secret about it. But then I like told her I was like, I stole one of those candles. She was like, "What?" I was like, and it was a funny moment.
And then it was really hot.
She's like, "You're so bad."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think that is what she said. But it was a joke, obviously. It was something to laugh about, how silly and ridiculous. But I felt that it was important to justify. I didn't just do it because I wanted to. I had some struggle with it first. And I have not stolen anything else ever. Never even had the desire to.
Yeah. Can't say I've had a desire to steal. The grocery store, whatever checkout's a pretty good example. It's pretty relatable for people. I can see the appeal or the allure of just like, I could potentially steal this with no consequence. So why not? Mm-hmm. I've never had that temptation. And I think working in favor of that is the fact that, God damn it, I am in a better position than a lot of people to where I can afford it.
Yeah.
I don't even have a justification for stealing it other than that it's easy. That's not even a good reason to steal something. I don't know.
The reason I had wasn't a good deal. The right thing for me to do would be to sit there and keep waving at old ladies who keep ignoring me. I should have just done that.
An example of that is I was stuck at a red light and I didn't see my motorcycle. And I was there for however many cycles. And it's nighttime in this example. This happened a few times. Happens to motorcycle riders. It's nighttime. There's nobody out there. I didn't see one car in the 10 minutes I waited. I can't remember. I counted. It was specific to the story. Let's just say 10. It's kind of arbitrary. Light would not change. I went, fine. I've waited. I'm not just going because there's nobody here and it's inconvenient. I've done everything I can.
Man.
Anyway, I went.
did that with you the other day. We were driving. I wasn't there 10 minutes, but when we went to
I remember.
And I was like, it's been at least a minute. And then I did it.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Well, I turned left and then immediately a cop comes out of nowhere and pulls me over, which I thought was funny. Are
you kidding me?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. I thought it was funny. I didn't laugh, but I thought it was humorous because I thought he must have been hiding in the middle of nowhere, watching somebody on a bike at a light for 10 minutes. He obviously would have been aware, and I wasn't being malicious. He would have been aware of the situation I was in. So I thought it was humorous.
Was it good? Was he good natured about it?
How about I tell you the end of the story, and then I'll tell you if he was good natured. Yeah. He pulled me over. He goes, "You know why I pulled you over?" He goes, "Because I ran that red light." And he goes, "Yeah." And then I can't remember if I interrupted and I was like, "But I waited. It wouldn't." I know I explained. I said I waited for them many cycles. It wouldn't see me. And it's written in the whatever I said. There's an article that says if you wait, and I think it's an indeterminate amount of time. It says if a reasonable amount of time has passed, whatever. And he goes, it's 10 minutes, or the number was, it's 15 minutes. And I went, okay. I thought that doesn't sound right, but whatever. He goes, let me get your information. Took it back. Was like, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Just next time, go around, take 3 right turns to get to this intersection. Like, that's stupid. Dumb law, dumb reasoning, totally justified. I say that in relation to the money story. But ever since then, I'm stubborn. And I've been at situations where I sat at a light for at least 15 minutes. I literally got off the bike and just sat on the ground and waited. I'm like, whatever. And eventually a car did show up behind me and set off the light. But at that point, I'm like, well, if I have to follow the law, well, let's just freaking follow the law. I'm just going to sit here and do nothing because this whatever. So in defense of old me, I don't regret making that illegal left turn on a red light because I was stuck. It's kind of like the candle thing. Anyway, that's
I think what you did was more ethical than what I did, technically, because I think stealing somebody else's stuff is worse than...
It's a different question, but which crime was worse? Potentially putting an invisible person's life in danger at nighttime that I couldn't see because he wasn't there?
Yeah.
Or stealing 39 cents of a
or stealing
money.
Yeah, a quarter.
We should both get tattoos.
And I think with taxes, it would have been like 41 cents.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I thought about that just now.
This is going to make national news. You're going to be like in the orange jumpsuit with your thing in front of you. And
yeah, very famous, notorious YouTuber, Zach. Steals? Oh, gosh. I like that. Very famous.
Famous and unusually attractive Zach.
Yeah. So big and muscular and hot. Stole from Walmart. He alleges on 2020 live podcast. Quote, the old lady didn't pay attention to me.
Quote, wow, this guy he has huge muscles, quoted the officer arresting Zach.
Yeah.
Officer on... Yeah, I won't repeat myself.
Yeah.
Well,
YouTuber Zach was quoted as having, quote, massive muscles and incredible personality. Yeah. But he stole the law, stole the law. He broke the law, so that's funny. Okay, any more crimes? There's a lot more crimes.
There are a lot more, but I kind of feel like that's a good endpoint, and I think we can always revisit it. So,
sure.
Your mama suggested a good game. Let's do some of this.
Okay.
Your mama suggested that we pull up some would you rather questions. Yeah. So I'm gonna ramble for 30 seconds while you pull that stuff up. Okay, never mind. That's what she said. What did you find?
Okay. Would you rather have all dogs try to attack you when they see you, or all birds try to attack you when they see you?
Dogs.
Because there's so many birds?
That's part of it, and I like dogs more than I like birds.
But they attack you, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. That's something more... Like, I'm assuming I have to fight. I would rather fight a dog than fight birds. I'm not saying dogs are easier, but I've fantasized about fighting dogs. I'm mentally prepared if one attacked me.
Yeah.
As opposed to birds. I'm not mentally prepared for that fight.
You know, I was going to say, that's so stupid. Birds are tiny and weak. And then I just remember my dad's a falconer, and I've seen some of these birds, and I've seen what they can do.
F you up. Just like, don't think they're weaker than dogs.
No, they are strong. Some of these birds, like freaking eagle, they could kill you. If a couple eagles, a pair of eagles saw you and they just start, they could just
slice,
trach you, and you'd be dead. Of course, dogs could kill you too.
Yeah. Well, anyway, which one for you?
I would say dogs now.
Okay.
But then here's the sad thing about that is all dogs would be tainted to you now. Like this good thing in your life, they'd be only bad now because Ronan would attack you. He would hate you. I'm imagining he'd be still a coward, but he'd attack you. And I don't know how I can't even imagine that. Would you rather be compelled to high five everybody you meet, or be compelled to give wedgies to anyone in a green shirt?
Obviously the high five. See, it says compelled to, not you have to do this. You have a desire to do this. I'd rather have a desire to give positive things than negative things.
Yeah. I
Even
agree.
if I was annoying for it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Would you rather have skin that changes color based on your emotions, or tattoos appear all over your body depicting what you did yesterday?
Wow.
That's interesting.
The tattoos is interesting. I'm going to have to go with the skin color for a couple reasons. One, I don't have tattoos, and there's something about tattoos. And the other one is because then I could make a bunch of social commentary on skin color. And I'd be allowed to.
That's funny. You're having a really bad, depressed day, and you just turn like a I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, see, if your skin changed
Yep.
color, you could. You're not even
could.
allowed to talk about it.
Yeah. You're not culturally this color. You're just this color technically. No, the first thing I thought was having tattoos. That what I did yesterday. I probably didn't do very many good things yesterday, and so maybe I don't want that. But then I thought that'd be a really good motivator to do good things. So I would probably pick the tattoos on your body.
Good point.
Because I think
also consider a pro point. Just because they explain or tell the story of what happened yesterday doesn't mean everyone's going to be able to interpret them or see them. But yes, tattoos is a good one.
That is a good one. That's why I would pick that now.
Okay.
Plus, I like tattoos. I imagine it's a cool.
You are a
font or
tattoo
whatever.
person. Whereas I said I don't wear tattoos, so like it doesn't fit me, but it fits you.
Yeah. Would you rather randomly time travel plus or minus 20 years every time you fart, or teleport to a different place on Earth every time you sneeze?
Shoof. I was totally going for the sneeze, but I sneeze more. Do I sneeze more than I fart? No, I fart more than I sneeze. I would choose the sneeze one for sure.
You teleport somewhere else on the Earth if you sneeze.
Imagine,
that means, what if you're doing something, you're on a nice date?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Shoot.
If you go 20 years randomly future past, sorry.
Oh, that is a little more
your life is ruined. It could be remedied in as little as 24 hours if you got teleported because you could fly back. There is no cure except for mustering a fart and hoping you land back where you were.
But it is exactly 20 plus or minus.
Yeah, but you don't know which one.
Yeah.
You can't control it.
But it would at least be, you'd be the same place in those times. So you'd get really good at like knowing your spots and stuff. I'm imagining.
I'm going for the sneezing one.
It would be a cool way to travel.
Like how
Achoo. Oh, wow. The Great Wall of China.
Everest. Well, I better muster a sneeze or I'm going to die here in like 20 seconds.
Would be really nice. You could just carry like a feather or something with you and just tickle your nose. Just see the world.
Anyway, that's my pick. What's your pick?
I'd pick this. I don't sneeze that often, so I think I'd pick that because it would change.
That.
I'd pick the sneezing.
Okay.
Would you rather there be a perpetual water balloon war going on in your city and town, or a perpetual food fight in your city and town?
Water balloon fight.
Yeah. Would you rather have to fart loudly every time you have a serious conversation, or have to burp every time you kiss?
I could burp every time I kiss.
You just do it quiet.
Because two things. I burp all the time anyway, and I don't kiss. So that's the catch.
Yeah, I do not want to fart when I have a serious conversation. So.
I wouldn't mind that, but I have more serious conversations than I do kiss. I think that's the kicker for me.
Yeah. Would you rather become twice as strong when both of your fingers are stuck in your ears, or crawl twice as fast as you can run?
I think I would take the crawl one because it's less conditions, and that there are no conditions. You're just granted a power. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably find some fun, creepy ways to use it.
Oh, man. Get twice as strong if you plug your ears?
Well, then how do you use your arms if your ears are... Well, let's just pretend you could wear earplugs.
Here's how I imagine. I'm playing football, and I'm running. Wow, yeah, here we go. Oh. Ball's coming, but it's just a little bit too high. I can just really quick plug my ears and jump really high because my legs are twice as strong, and then I'm extra high and I can catch it and I can unplug. You can cheat a little bit. You can help yourself. But I get
I'd go for the speed.
Yeah, you could crawl twice as fast as you could run.
Yeah, it's really fast. It's basically you want double strength or double speed, but each one has like a hindrance. I don't think crawling is a hindrance. It's just unfortunate and maybe creepy, but like...
What if it hurt your ankle or your
Let's pretend
knees?
It doesn't.
Okay.
The strength is unlimited. The speed is...
Okay.
I'm going for speed.
Okay, I like it. I'm agreeing with you now.
Okay.
Would you rather have everything you draw become real but be permanently terrible at drawing, or be able to fly but only as fast as you can walk? I'd fly.
Of course, fly.
Yeah. As fast as you can walk. That's not very fast, but you could just...
I'll still freaking do it. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm with you. Would you rather have everything... Nope. I already did that one. Would you rather 30 butterflies instantly appear from nowhere every time you sneeze, or one very angry squirrel appear from nowhere every time you cough?
Butterflies is funny.
It is.
And angry squirrels are no joke. Although I haven't known an angry squirrel. I have known nice squirrels, and they can still do a lot of damage. Anyway,
Nice
butterfly thing, it literally sounds like an ad an add-on you'd put on your character in a video game.
I think it sounds like an ad in general. Like there's a Clorox commercial and someone, achoo, oh, it feels so good to sneeze. You know, it's like Kleenex.
Yeah.
Sneeze butterflies.
You know what though? No, you know what though?
What?
If the last condition, every time you sneeze, 30 butterflies appear, and you hear a voice in the sky, Kleenex. Then I wouldn't want it because that would be annoying. It's funny, but it's also annoying.
Kleenex.
Yeah.
That is annoying.
Butterflies, that was my choice.
Me too. Me too. Would you rather eat a sandwich made from 4 ingredients in your fridge chosen at random, or eat a sandwich made by a group of your friends from 4 ingredients in your fridge?
Friends. They might make it with love.
Yeah, there's a good chance of that. But you don't have 4 ingredients in your fridge, I don't
But
think.
imagine you did.
Okay. But just imagine I did.
My sandwich would be made of chicken, eggs, nos, and ketchup.
Oh, gosh.
No, but, you know, I would rather that they made it because there's a chance of it being...
Yeah, I agree. I trust my friends more than I trust random.
Yeah.
Would you rather everyone be required to wear identical silver jumpsuits, or anytime 2 people meet and are wearing an identical article of clothing, they must fight to the death? Oh,
You know, I don't want to detract too much, but there's this
Wow.
guy at the gym who has the same exact shirt I do.
really?
And he has swooshed shoes and gray sweatpants, so he looks almost identical. Same height, too.
Really?
But he has the exact same shirt. I've never seen a shirt. So I'm not a fan of death, so I'm going to have to go with the annoying jumpsuits.
Yeah, no, that's easy for me. I don't want to see anybody fight to the
Right.
death.
It's
Or especially-
funny, but
yeah.
like I want anyone to die.
Yeah. I'm going to ask a couple more and we can
Okay.
call it.
Yeah.
Let me find. Would you rather be unable to move your body every time it rains, or not be able to stop moving while the sun is out? This one's easy for me,
Yeah, son.
son.
Yeah.
It's being able to do stuff's better than being stuck where you are. Would you rather wear a tuxedo every single day, or wear a bathing suit every single day?
Bathing suit. Well, help me figure this out. Couldn't I technically wear my trunks as underwear and wear regular clothes over them? No, I can't.
Only these things. Only a
Okay.
tuxedo, only a bathing suit.
Well, for appearances, I'd like a tuxedo, obviously.
I would do
But
tuxedo.
I think I would too. Yeah, I would. I'd rather swim in a tuxedo than go out to eat in swim trunks.
Yeah, me too. Plus, that would be cool. Like,
Yeah.
that guy wears a tuxedo everywhere he goes, even to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
because that's just what he does. He has tuxedo for every day. Would you rather have to read aloud every word you read, or sing everything you say out loud?
Okay, read that again.
Would you rather have to read aloud every word you read,
Mhm.
or sing everything you say out loud?
Sing everything you say. Sing everything you say out loud. So if I'm speaking, I have to sing it. If I
I'm
read it, I have
speaking-
to say it out loud. Read out loud.
Yeah. I imagine a scenario. You're getting like a letter of divorce.
Oh no.
You're like, I can't even do it.
Don't
but
even.
yeah, you can imagine just, I don't love you anymore. And this, I don't know. Just I found somebody else. Like, you're all sad, but you can't help but read it out loud. That's so
Yeah.
silly. All right, couple more. Would you rather have edible spaghetti hair that regrows every night, or sweat maple syrup?
Ooh, you know what? Read that first part again with the spaghetti hair.
Would you rather have edible spaghetti hair that regrows every night, or sweat maple
Okay,
syrup?
no, not the half. So, does my hair actually look like, and is it all intents and purposes spaghetti for hair?
Yeah.
Or does it look like hair, but it eats and tastes like spaghetti? Because if I have spaghetti on my head, it'd be hard to work with, but so would sweating maple syrup.
I would never exercise.
This is the hardest
stuff.
question I've gotten.
Okay, here I'll give you this. You can have the most hair-like spaghetti, but it doesn't look like hair. It looks like the most hair-like spaghetti, like angel hair pasta. You can have that.
I think honestly, I'd hate to lose the way I look, kind of, but I think that'd be easier to deal with than sweating sticky stuff
Yep.
and ruining all your clothes. And
You just go bald every day. just cut your.
Yeah, like you could just change your hairstyles as simple as one as the other one is, and affects so many parts of your life. Anyway, I got to go with the spaghetti here.
I do too.
Okay. One more.
All right, last one. I want to find a good one.
That was a good one, though.
That was a good one. Okay. This is not a good one necessarily, but it is the last one. Would you rather every shirt you ever wear be kind of itchy, or you're only able to use one piece of toilet paper, one square of toilet paper every time you wipe?
I can totally work with one piece.
You could wipe your butt with one piece, like one square of toilet paper every time. You don't ever have
hold on. Imagine this, though. I assume, okay, I think we're interpreting that differently. I'm thinking one square per wipe. You're thinking one square per session.
Yep.
Okay.
Every time you poop, you get one square, and that's it. I couldn't do that.
What was the first half again?
Every shirt you have is kind of itchy.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go for the stupid toilet paper.
You would...
Because otherwise, if stop, I don't want to live in misery, as opposed to.
I just don't wear a
butt
shirt.
Wiping is. You have to though. That's how I see. You have to wear a shirt every day. You know, you have
every
to
time
wear
I'm
a
in
shirt.
public. Yeah,
you kind of have to wear a shirt, but you don't have to. You have to do that every day, all day. Pooping, maybe once a day. You know.
Yeah, but then you got a little bit. You can't wipe all the poop with one square.
I know.
You're gonna have a little poop left.
Well, I don't want to be. They're
have
both
a tiny bit
uncomfortable.
of Duke.
That's my choice, dude. I'm going with the toilet paper square. I'm gonna get really goddamn efficient.
No way. I couldn't do it. I need.
Would you rather itch
all
all the time?
Paper. Yes, I'd rather itch than have poop left over my boot. Like
okay.
I don't want Duke in myself. I don't want it in the crack.
Well, I'm glad we found one that we like had different opinions on.
Yeah, I'd rather be. I'm a little itchy in this shirt, and I'm thinking like I'm functioning fine.
Oh yeah, well I got some poop in my crack, and I'm functioning fine.
That's a good way to end it.
All right, well, get your fingers ready on that button. I'll see if I can remember to fade to the outro this time. I'm gonna switch to this camera, and I'm gonna click this button down here, which is not convenient, but there we go. Thank you guys for watching and/or listening to the show, which is the listening show, a show you can listen to, and we will see you next time.